Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Yo, assalamu alaikum, my what's good? Bow.
Today with the 21st episode of the Blood Talk. Today's topic will be Jorge Masvidal. What is the best fight for him that the matchmakers could do? If you want to know the answer to this question, stay tuned. Masvidal comes off a unanimous decision loss from UFC 272 on March 5th against Colby Covington. It was a complete domination, a complete dominant win for Colby, so Masvidal did not look his best there, and he's on a 3-fight losing streak right now. He lost to Colby by unanimous decision, as I mentioned, lost to Kamaru by KO, and lost to Kamaru again, or before, by unanimous decision. So he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Now, people talk about, or the internet is talking about, and the fighters initiated it, the fight between Gilbert Burns Durinho versus Jorge Masvidal. It all started, I think, by Gilbert Burns calling out half of the welterweight roster and also called out Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal responded, said, hey, yeah, why not? Let me improve the wrestling a little bit. Let's fight, I don't know, end of the year, whatever. Durinho said, okay, let's do that. We can even do no takedowns and stuff, whatever. So this fight, it looked like will happen. And I really thought, hey, okay, this is not the best fight for Masvidal, but this could really happen. Now, if you believe Gilbert Burns, if I'm right, he said he signed a contract, or at least he officially agreed with the UFC to fight Masvidal. And then from Masvidal's side, if we believe Gilbert Burns, he denied the fight. He said that he don't want to fight, whatever. Maybe he was not, maybe he didn't agree with the date, whatever, because the date will be November. I don't know what the exact answer to that is, but it seems like this fight is not going to happen. So we have to think about, okay, what is next for Masvidal? March 5th is a long time ago. He should be ready health-wise to fight. It took some damage, definitely, but he didn't get knocked down, knocked out, whatever. So he should be ready to fight by the end of the year, and he's not getting younger, so he might want to fight ASAP. He said he wants to improve his wrestling. I believe that's not the right approach, because by the age of 37, of course you should improve always, everywhere. You try to improve. But by the age of 37, he turns 38 by the end of the year in November. You will not be a Division I All-American just because you improved your wrestling for a few months. It's not like you didn't wrestle your whole life, you know what I mean? And you can't improve that too much at this age in a normal time frame. So in my opinion, Gilbert Burns was never a good fight for him. Gilbert Burns has, yes, great striking. First of all, he has great striking. Jorge Masvidal also has great striking. But Durinho is, in my opinion, how I see the fights right now, the faster guy. Masvidal got older, got a little bit slower as of what it seemed in the last few fights, and Durinho seems like he's in his prime somehow. So in a stand-up, it's a fair matchup, but still it's very dangerous for Masvidal. But Durinho has something that Masvidal does not like, which is ground game. Durinho may not be a wrestler like Colby and Usman, but he has great takedowns. I highly believe that Durinho can take Masvidal down. And the thing is, both Usman and Covington are not nearly as good in finishing the fight on the ground like Durinho. If he has you on the ground, it's not over, but it's a very, very dangerous place where you don't want to be. And I highly believe that Gilbert Burns would have taken him down in the fight, because he wants to win the fight. It's a smart approach, it makes sense. So in my opinion, he should not face a wrestler or grappler at all. So we can erase a guy like Bilal, Brady, all these guys. Many people in the welterweight division are wrestlers. I didn't call him out, but he talked shit about Hamas and stuff. Please, Masvidal, don't do this, because you don't want the smoke from Khamzat. I'm not trying to make Khamzat the GOAT here in my videos, but Khamzat, that's my opinion. It's not proven, but that's my opinion. Khamzat has same level of wrestling or same takedown level like Colby Covington. Colby Covington is a high level wrestler. And he took Masvidal down however he wanted. And you have to think about Khamzat even is heavier. He's a light heavyweight that fights at middleweight and even cuts down to welterweight. So he's much stronger even. In my opinion, he could take Masvidal down however he wants. And on the ground, he's a finisher. He's not like Colby, who does not really finish fights. He is a finisher. So it's really the last matchup I would want for Masvidal if I'm a Masvidal or if I would be a Masvidal fan. So he should leave that. He should leave that. And I really don't believe Masvidal will be the champion anymore. Hey, you never know, but he's 37, he turns 38, and normally in the lighter weight divisions, the older you get, the slower you get, and yeah, there are some light heavyweights, Glover Teixeira, who hits his prime at 40 or something, yes. But with the lower weight divisions, you don't really see that. And I don't see that he's getting better. I see that he's getting slower, which is quite normal. So he should just, in my opinion, focus on money fights or on fights that are good for his legacy. And there are two fights that I have in my head. First fight that makes the most sense for me is Masvidal against Conor the Notorious McGregor. I tell you why. Both are at a stage of the career where not everything is going how they like it. Conor is on a losing streak, I think two-fight losing streak. Masvidal on a 3-fight losing streak. Both are not the youngest anymore. Conor is 34, Masvidal turns 38, so there's a gap, but still, both are getting slower as of what I personally believe. They both looked slower in the last fights than they looked before. But both are huge pay-per-view stars. Both are, Conor is the biggest pay-per-view star ever, without even competition. But Masvidal is also a huge pay-per-view star. So these two guys on a pay-per-view, the pay-per-view would sell like crazy. This would rank in the top 5 highest pay-per-views ever. And I know the hype is not what it used to be. Conor had bigger hype a few years ago, and Masvidal's hype was bigger a few years ago, yes. But they still have a big hype, a big name, and people will tune in, even the haters. Everybody will tune into that fight, I can guarantee you that. The UFC knows that. And Masvidal and Conor, I can guarantee you, will get pay-per-view points for that fight. They are not stupid. They know how to negotiate. They will get pay-per-view points for that. So they make a lot of money. The UFC makes a lot of money. We as fans, we have fun. It's a fun fight. Two strikers. That's also the point. They're both strikers. They both don't like to wrestle grapple unless they are hurt. So we'll have a nice striking match between two guys that never fought each other. Conor is at 170 size right now, so it also makes sense there. You can say, yes, Masvidal is the bigger guy, he's a few centimeters bigger, but they have the same reach. So the reach is the same of both guys. So you can't say Masvidal has a huge advantage because he can just out-jab him and stuff, which you can't do normally against Conor either way, but yeah, it makes sense. In my opinion, it makes a lot of sense. And I would even say the loser of the fight retires. That would be a good deal, right? The loser of the fight retires. Of course, that would not be a deal, but would make sense for me. And there's another aspect that I can tell you what makes for the UFC a lot of sense, for us a lot of sense, for the fighters, for everyone. There's still the BMF title. And I know people say, that's not a real title. Yeah, of course, it's not. You're not a champ. But it's still a title. It still has some kind of worth. Even it's maybe just in your head, whatever, but it's a belt. It's an official belt. It's not a ranking or whatever. There's no ranking to the belt, but it's an official belt. And the UFC wanted to make that belt, like Dana regretted that they didn't make the belt for Colby against Masvidal. And if the UFC thinks Colby is a bad mother effer, BMF means bad mother effer, then Conor is 100%. And I could really see the UFC, if they make the fight, that they make it for the BMF belt. Conor wants all the belts, he said.
All
all the belts.
So that's also a belt that he can collect. It would just be win-win for everyone. It would just be a very fun fight. It doesn't even have to be the main event, in my opinion. It can be the co-main, I don't care. It can be somewhere on the main card, I don't care. As long as it's on the pay-per-view main card, it sells people will tune in for the fight. Doesn't matter what a fight is, people will tune in for that. So it makes a lot of sense. There's no point where I say, hey, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense for everybody. Of course, you can say, okay, Conor maybe wants to go for the strap, and that's not a fight that brings you to the title. Yes. But Conor says a lot, but at the end of the day, he just likes money, he likes to have a good fight, and Conor appreciates a fight against a striker, I can guarantee you that. The other fight that makes sense is a fight that happened before. Masvidal lost that fight. It was at UFC 217 in the year 2017. He lost by unanimous decision against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is also, he's even older, he's 40. So he's even older than Masvidal. He's also at the end of his career, he probably also won't fight for a title ever again, unfortunately, because I really like him. He's also a pure striker who doesn't like to grapple, who's also on a losing streak, 2-fight losing streak. And with both losses, same as Masvidal, got out-wrestled. Thompson is winning the last 2 fights, if you watch them, in the stand-up, he won both fights, easy. But on the ground, it's a different game. These 2 guys would stand and bang like they did in the first fight, which would be a hell lot of fun for us to watch. Masvidal could avenge his loss, makes sense for him. We have the same part again with maybe the loser retires, whatever. Both can have like a legacy fight, which is very good for both of them. Both have fun, both have a striker in front of them, can strike normally, because you have to see, if you're a striker and you fight a wrestler, you don't fight the same. You can't strike as you like to do if you fight a wrestler. You can't kick as much, of course you can, but it's very risky to kick against a wrestler. It's very risky to do certain combinations against a wrestler. You pick your shots more if you fight a wrestler because you're always worried about the takedown. If the wrestler goes for a body shot, lowers levels to go for a body shot or whatever, you are immediately worried about a takedown. You can't fight as relaxed in the stand-up as you could, so you can't bring your whole stand-up game if you want to. That would be a very good fight in my opinion. Makes sense. I would not make it for a belt because Thompson is more of the NMF, the nicest MFer. So there's no belt on the line there in my opinion, but legacy. And legacy is also very important. These are my 2 fights that make the most sense for Masvidal. Write below in the comments, what do you think? Which fight makes most sense for Masvidal? Maybe, I don't know, a guy behind the rankings, Neil Magny, whatever, I don't know. Write it in the comments. Also write why the fight makes sense. It would really interest me, honestly. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, show some love, guys. As I said, comment down below who you think makes most sense. And most importantly, eat your goddamn vegetables, people. Until the next time, guys, bye-bye. Bloodsport out.
Eat your vegetables.